The session is Future May Belong to Children Who Can. Who can is lots of questions over there. This recently came up, it was an hospital bill in India. It was a major hospitalization and a lot of procedures that were done, and longer stay in the hospital. So the bill came up to 1.6 crore. That's what they had to pay. And it was interesting how one of those family members in the present age and time was all AI savvy, and he uploaded every bill that they got into Claude and asked it to scrutinize it. Claude is equipped with all of that, and it started looking at all the statements, and it identified the duplicate billing and some illegal medicines, illegal or out of stock, dead stock, or not allowed kind of stuff being used, unnecessary charges, duplicate charges, and all the procedures that hospitals are not allowed to do, but whether they had done or not sure, but it was billed. So when he fed all these medical records into Claude, it started identifying, duplicating, separating it out, and then it also came up with a legal letter, the notice format, that the person could take it to the hospital, and the hospital had to agree. The bill came down from 1.6 crore to 27 lakhs. That was an amazing, eye opener for the hospitals and for the people as well. We all say we get ripped out when we go to a hospital, but we really don't know what to do unless we have influence. The doctor may waive his charges, or some influence from a local corporator can reduce some amount, but still 1.67 crores would probably have been reduced to 1.25 or something, but still like 5 times more than what it actually cost. And that is when it like, for me, it was like AI is just not a tool that we get addicted to. It introduces our thinking abilities, creative abilities, whatnot. It will in some extent, but in such cases it's also a supremely handy tool, provided we are aware. I'm not sure if you have noticed this. There is Cockroach Janata Party that was formed online, and now there is this other person who is doing anti-cockroach party, and he is offering the Claude training for 2 days, fully free, just to equip all the people, because people are using it. Crooks are using it, and now we want people also to become aware and use it properly. So we need to have that balance. We cannot be not aware or updated with what's happening. And definitely with our children, it's only going to get a little bit more immersive in our nature. So, teaching children to use it wisely, learn it as well to some extent, not to generate a report and copy paste and send it and get marks. Definitely not that. But then the future, knowing that AI is going to replace or bring in many new kinds of careers, the present way of training children may not be, or will not be, at least the way it is presently in practiced in majority schools of India, will not be equipping children to survive. So the future belongs to children who can ask questions, intelligent questions. Somewhere in our generation, it was kind of not okay to ask questions. Definitely not when we got into college. School, maybe still yes. But the minute we got into 11th, into a college, everything sealed off, you know. But now children should begin asking questions. There are children extremely curious and they keep asking questions, and we need to identify that could be out of lack of balance, you know, where child is just asking questions for the heck of it because the child is bored and there is not enough physical activity for the child to do to embody that, and they just blabber out, and parents, teachers get exhausted of those questions. That is not what I'm talking about. Of course there is curiosity, and I need to generate that curiosity still further, especially in adolescents, to ask questions and to maybe think about probable answers themselves, and then come and have a little debate with parents, with teachers, with adults around. But beginning to asking intelligent questions is what we uh, need to be focusing on with children. Thinking critically is another thing that AI cannot do, that we need to, as human beings, need to have that ability and need to develop. So that's why giving in too much to AI is not a wise idea. But I can put in my original ideas, my thoughts, my experiences, put it in some way, and then maybe ask the AI to kind of refine it, put it in the order. So I don't have to spend the time in formatting, in laying out, and things like that. But ideas are mine, the solutions were mine. Maybe I got a few other additional ideas, but I'm still like investing myself rather than I see many teachers give me beautiful replies now, perfect language. In reality, they don't have it at all. I mean, even if I ask them to read aloud what they posted to me, they may not be able to do. That is not what we are looking at, you know. But thinking, making, I mean, having my own ideas and bring it into solving the real world problems, real world right now, what's happening around, you know. They see lots of people posting their work, you know. There is cleaning up drive, there are people cleaning up the rivers and the lakes and the roadsides, tanks and wells, so many things that people are doing. That's real time impact that they are creating. Planting trees, you know. It seems in Bhopal they have planted these algae that absorb the carbon dioxide and leave out the oxygen in a very thickly urban area where they cannot plant trees, while they are not a definite alternate to trees. They're definitely adding value. So innovative ideas that come in, that AI cannot do. AI can operate based on one idea already. AI may help us innovate, but it won't help us create something new out of the box, solving the current real time problems. So, children, if they are trained to do that, that may be what is future asking us of, which our current education system is not doing very much. Staying calm under pressure. Right now there is lot of pressure, competition, you know. For children it's peer pressure, exam pressure, parental pressure, to perform in terms of marks. Now, teaching them methods of staying calm, that is not giving in for my amygdala, for my limbic brain to take over, you know, which is typically will be fight, flight, or freeze. I don't want to be doing that. I want to be able to stay calm, operate out of my logical brain, think through what is right, what is wrong, take up a decision that is appropriate to that time and situation, and move forward. So I need to be giving practices to children that will help them develop their forebrain. You know, it somewhere calls in for visualizations, it calls in for some breathing practices, and that has to be part of my rhythm with children. And definitely communication, communicate what I feel. Children are developing their vocabulary, they are developing articulation, the environment matters, and encouraging them to continually do that is also very important. That is where the future belongs to. And definitely using technology wisely, screens wisely. Banning it may create another kind of craving. Using it wisely, one of my friends, she's done a beautiful research, I think for 5 years now. I think I had posted in the group earlier. She has posted a current white paper with gathering ideas on how to help children use screen wisely, and it has been a successful results for her. She's pairing up a 14-15 year old with 8-9 year old in a 2 hour window, and where they do something together. There is a problem that is given, they debate, discuss whatever together, and then they Google up or they chat GPT for more insights on that problem, and to check what their thoughts, their ideas were. Was it even part that was considered by AI or not, and kind of refine it a little bit further, go back into debate, and come up with a solution, practical solution, with two, three, four alternatives. And that is working out so beautifully. That is guided use of technology, where children find purposeful use of it. And that is when we could expect the children to use it wisely. Otherwise, it's mundane scrolling, mundane getting lost in it. That is not what a child or anybody wants to do, but it is definitely because they feel that lack within. They want to not face it. That's why take on something that will make them forget themselves, and screen is definitely one of those. So we need to engage children in the purposeful work and guide them how to use this technology properly. Somewhere where the child is developing their ability to judge, to take decision, to take calculated risks as they're getting into their third stage of development, beginning about 15, 16 years of age, we need to be able to build up that basics awareness of what AI can do, the profound work that AI can do, and how I should not become a slave to it. I should be the master to direct and use it to the best of my ability, to save time, to save energy, to save money, to save whatnot. And that is creativity. That is what only humans can do. And that will prepare them the best for the future. Would like to hear from you. Thank you.